Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base, and yeah, there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it. You know, we come to play basketball for our job, and it's fun, but we don't want to go to work every day and have social media blown up over things like that. It's uncalled for, and something needs to be done.
Did you see what Alyssa Thomas said about Caitlin Clark's fans? It's causing a huge stir in the WNBA. Some people are backing her up, others are saying she's way off base. We're gonna dig into both sides and figure out what's really going on here. Okay, here's the deal. Alyssa Thomas just dropped a bomb on Caitlin Clark's fans. She called them racist. Yeah, you heard that right. After a playoff game, Thomas said she'd never seen anything like it in her career. The things she claims fans were saying, it's pretty shocking stuff. This isn't just some player drama. We're talking about racism, fan behavior, and the future of the WNBA.
If they had played a road game, it would have been in Indiana. She goes into an arena. Is social media there waiting for her as she walks through security? The Indiana Fever don't have to do something to get you away from social media. Put your phone down. Don't download the apps. Don't engage. We all know what this really is. It's an attack on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's the wrong face for this league because her fans are so racist.
It's big, and we're gonna break it all down for you. But here's the thing. Is Thomas telling the truth, or is she just upset after losing? That's what we're about to find out. You know what's crazy? This whole situation could change how we watch women's basketball. So let's get into it and see what's really going on with Alyssa Thomas, Caitlin Clark, and this wild WNBA drama. Now let's zoom in on Alyssa Thomas's side of the story. What could have pushed a seasoned pro to make such a bold claim? The answer might reveal a darker side of fandom that's been hiding in plain sight. Picture this. It's after a tough playoff game. The crowd's energy is still buzzing, and Alyssa Thomas steps up to the mic. She's not just frustrated about losing.
We live in a world today. Think about the climate that exists. Think about how unhealthy and divisive our climate is in today's day and age. They're saying it's worse now than it was then.
Racial tension.
Racial tension, okay? So you see this girl, Caitlin Clark, and this is not her fault. It's not her fault. We won't go back. We won't go back. Don't let us go back. There's certain people that want us to go back to a different time, blah, blah, blah. We've heard all of that.
There's something else on her mind, something that's been building up for a while. Thomas drops a bombshell. She says, "In my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base." That's huge. We're not talking about normal trash talk here. Thomas is calling out racism straight up, but it doesn't stop there. Thomas gets specific. She talks about personal attacks on players' looks and racist comments. It's not just one or two bad apples. She's saying it's a widespread problem. Now, you might be thinking, come on, all teams have some rowdy fans. But Thomas isn't having it. She's drawing a line in the sand saying there's no time for it anymore. She wants the WNBA to step up and do something about online harassment. Imagine being in Thomas's shoes for a second.
Instagram wasn't there waiting for me. Instagram and Twitter, these are choices we make. It could have been somebody from Connecticut pretending to be an Indiana Fever fan, or someone from Connecticut who doesn't like you because you're a whiny victim 24/7. In my 11 years, I've never dealt with what I've dealt with. You know why? Because no one cared about your league before Caitlin Clark.
You're giving it your all on the court, and then you check your phone after the game. Boom, hundreds of nasty comments. Not just about your game, but about who you are as a person. That's gotta mess with your head, right? This isn't just about one player being sensitive. Thomas is talking about a culture of hate that's been growing online. Social media's given fans direct access to players, and not everyone's using that power responsibly. Here's where it gets tricky. Some fans are backing Thomas up, saying it's about time someone spoke out. Others, they're saying she's overreacting, that not all criticism is racist. It's turning into a real he said, she said situation. But here's the thing, Thomas isn't some rookie looking for attention. She's been in the league for over a decade. When a veteran player says she's never seen anything like this before, that's worth paying attention to. So what's really going on here? Is this about Caitlin Clark's sudden popularity bringing in a new, more aggressive type of fan? Or is it shining a light on problems that have been there all along? Maybe it's a bit of both. You know what's wild? The same thing that's skyrocketing the WNBA's popularity might also be tearing it apart. Caitlin Clark's bringing in record crowds.
I ran into people who were born in the 40s a couple of weeks ago that were telling me it's worse now than it was in the 60s. But knowing how our society can be, we see the ugliness that exists in certain parts of the country. All I'm saying is you can't ignore it. This is a perfect example, a small one, but nevertheless a perfect example of illuminating the kind of society that we're still living in, no matter how far forward we have moved.
But she's also shining a spotlight on some ugly truths. Is the league ready for what comes next? Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. This rookie's got the WNBA buzzing like never before. Ticket sales? Through the roof. TV ratings? Soaring. Media coverage? Everywhere you look, it's Caitlin Clark this, Caitlin Clark that. She's like a human highlight reel, and fans can't get enough. But here's where things get complicated. Imagine you're a veteran player like Alyssa Thomas. You've been grinding for years, putting in the work, slowly building the league. Then suddenly, this rookie comes in and steals all the attention. It's like some players have been in the league for years, working hard, and suddenly this rookie is getting all the attention. That's gotta sting, right? And it's not just about hurt feeling. Social media's changed the game for WNBA players. On one hand, it's giving them more visibility than ever. Players can connect with fans, build their brand, all that good stuff. But on the flip side, it's opening them up to a whole world of hate and racist comments. It's like a double-edged sword, and some players are getting cut deep. Now everyone's asking, is Clark's fan base really that different from other WNBA fan bases? Or is it just bigger and louder? Maybe all this new attention is just making existing problems more visible. It's like turning on a bright light in a dusty room. Suddenly, you can see all the dirt that was always there. Here's the million-dollar question. Is the WNBA ready for this level of attention? And what happens when the spotlight brings out the worst in some fans? The league's growing fast, but growth comes with growing pains. And right now, those pains are hitting hard. Clark's rookie season has been insane. She's breaking records left and right, becoming the face of the league almost overnight. But with great power comes great, well, you know the rest. The pressure on her shoulders must be intense, and every time she steps on the court, all eyes are on her, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This whole situation with Alyssa Thomas calling out racism among Clark's fans, it's not just about one player versus another. It's shining a light on the complex world of fan interactions in the WNBA. As the league gets more mainstream attention, these issues are only going to get bigger.
I've been on Twitter since 2009 or 8, somewhere around there. The abuse, the things that are said and have been said about me will be said about me today. Turn to your teammate and say, hey, cut it out. But that's not what she's going to do or anybody's going to do. They're all going to, oh, it's Caitlin Clark, it's her fans. And now that Caitlin Clark has exited, they'll get to deal with the traveling gay sex cult that they're comfortable with.
With great fame comes great problems. The WNBA's skyrocketing success is exposing a dark underbelly nobody saw coming. Is the league equipped to handle what's next? The WNBA's in a tough spot right now. They want more fans, more attention, but they also need to keep their players safe and happy. It's like trying to ride two horses at once. And let me tell you, it's not easy. Here's the deal. The league knows there's a problem with online harassment. They're not just sitting back and watching it happen. They're actually keeping an eye on things, trying to stop the hate. But is it enough? That's the million-dollar question. The WNBA's even come out and said, we won't tolerate racist, derogatory, or threatening comments made about players. That's a big step, but words are one thing. action is another. And right now, players like Alyssa Thomas are saying they need to see more action. This whole situation with Thomas and Clark, it's not just about two players. It's shining a light on some big issues in the WNBA, how fans interact with players, how the league handles conflicts, all of that stuff. And whatever happens next could change the whole culture of the league. You know what's unique about the WNBA? Fans feel super close to the players. It's not like other sports where the stars seem untouchable. In the WNBA, you might actually get to meet your favorite player after a game. That's awesome, right? But here's the thing. What happens when that closeness turns toxic? The league's trying to figure that out. They want to keep that special connection between fans and players, but they also need to protect their stars. It's a balancing act, and right now, it feels like they're wobbling a bit. This isn't just about the WNBA either. It's a big issue in women's sports in general. More and more players are speaking up about the crazy stuff fans say to them. It's like social media opened up this whole new world of interaction, but nobody really thought about the downsides. So what's next for the WNBA? They've got to figure out how to keep growing without losing what makes them special. They need more fans, sure, but they also need those fans to respect the players. It's not just about filling seats anymore. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels safe and respected. And here's where you come in. Yeah, you. As fans, we've got a role to play in all this. We can help make the WNBA a better place. How? By calling out bad behavior when we see it. By supporting players, not just when they're winning, but when they're going through tough times too. Alright, let's wrap this up. Thomas dropped a bomb about Clark's fans, and now the WNBA's in hot water. Clark's bringing in tons of new fans, but maybe some bad apples too. The league's trying to figure out how to keep growing without letting things get out of hand. Here's the thing, maybe Thomas is overreacting, or maybe she's pointing out a real problem. Either way, the WNBA needs to sort this out fast. They can't let this drama mess up all the good stuff happening in the league right now. So what do you think? Is Thomas right about Clark's fans? Or is this whole thing blown way out of proportion? The WNBA's future might depend on how they handle this mess. It's not just about two players anymore. It's about the whole league.